Time has gone 16 minutes after 6 o'clock, and it's a very good evening to you. Welcome to it, our special broadcast, and it's brought to you courtesy of Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, together with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. This being our 17th episode this evening, and thank you so much that you've taken some time to be with us. My name is Karabalans, glad to be with you for the next coming hour. Apologies for running a bit late. We're just sorting out some technical issues there, making sure that when we do go on air, everything is intact. So the delayed 4.5 minutes, we'd like to apologize for that. Well, it's going to be a jam-packed one as well this evening, as always, and we've got some interesting news for you this evening. And later on, in fact, we're going to be playing a clip, and it's a clip that's coming from the department, not actually the department, the South African Weather Services. And we'll play that clip later on during the show, as just before we wrap it up. As I said, I'm not being by myself this evening. I'm very excited whenever I see her, because I know it's somebody that's bringing joy to all of us this evening. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about none other than Josephine Peta, and she's the Senior Legal Administration Officer at the Office of the Family Advocate. It's a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for coming through, Josephine.
Thank you very much, my brother. Good evening to you, and good evening to the listeners out there as well.
So there we go. That's Ms. Josephine Peta there. Right, contact point this evening, 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. It's a toll-free number if you're going to be calling from a landline. Otherwise, if you're calling from a cell phone, you're more than welcome to call us in, and we'll take your details down and we'll call you back. You can also contact us via our Twitter handle. It's at DOJCD_ZA. That's DOJCD_ZA. And on Instagram, it's DOJCD. So there we go. Speak in any language of your choice. Would like to encourage you to do that, to speak in any language of your choice. So how phone logoro mohlomong ka nyaka ro bolele sepedi go ba Setswana o ka dira jalo o bolela le beleng gore tla bo le comfortable ka lona re ka thabela go kwa go wena. And so let's do likewise. So 0800 142 446, 0800 142 446. You're probably wondering what on earth we're going to be talking about, because each and every single week when we come here, we talk about something exciting. All right, so this evening we're going to be talking about fraudulent marriages, or marriages of convenience, part 2. It's not deja vu, hey?
Not this.
We have spoken about this before, right? Because I'm thinking, hi man, maybe something is wrong here. Maybe now. Maybe I had a dream. No, it's not a dream. This is part 2. This is part 2 of the show. So let's talk about it, Josephine. Let's jump straight into it. Fraudulent marriages, or marriages of convenience. This doesn't sound nice to me, hey?
No, it doesn't. And I've got a new term for that, hey?
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Let me get my pen. Let me scratch this one out quickly. Yeah. Okay, give me your new term. I'm going to write this one in.
Transactional marriages.
My goodness me, that's a big word. So what is it exactly we're talking about when we're talking about transactional marriages, or fraudulent marriages, or marriages of convenience?
You know, those are the marriages entered into between South African citizens with foreign nationals, with the view to facilitate the issuing of South African citizenship to the foreign nationals. You know, I call them transactional marriages because there's an exchange of money. There's no such a thing called lobola dene.
Okay.
It's not based on love, the deposition of trust, and other issues. It's based on rent a spouse. Transaction. You pay me 2,000 rand, I go with you to the Department of Home Affairs, then we go and solemnize our marriage, and then we're happy, and then we get out of the door, then we don't know each other anymore, and then the foreign national goes back to their country of origin, and then bring back their family to South Africa. So that's how the system gets manipulated. I
think you went away, and you came back, and you packed with terms.
Yes.
Now you rent a spouse.
Yes.
Sheesh, my goodness, it's going to be a long evening, this one. 0800 142 446. If you want to call in already, you're more than welcome to do that, because Kijo really tempts. And, you know, the producers just written here, fraudulent marriages and marriages of convenience. Josephine comes and is like, I got a better one. Let me give you this one. Transactional marriages. Just before you hear that, and she comes and tells you about rent a spouse. What more? Geez, 60 minutes is going to be a long time, yeah. All right, let's talk about what necessitates people to actually get into marriages like these.
It's greed. More than anything, it's greed, because you know, some people used to justify that by saying it's poverty and all those kind of things. So really, we have experienced poverty, all of us. I mean, so it's great because remember the money is, they continue to get this money on a monthly basis. You find that if they rent you today, then it's either you're getting the 50,000 payment, like once off payment.
Lump sum.
Yes, lump
sum.
sum.
Let me throw in my big word there.
Yes, lump sum, yes. Or you get the 2,000 rand per month.
Is that how it's done?
Yes, up until the foreign national then attains citizenship. And the reason why I've got a big problem with this, it's that people do not appreciate the consequences of a marriage. Marriage is big. It impacts on your status as a person. You become married and then there are certain things that you can no longer do alone because you have to take your spouse everywhere. You have to do transactions with them. Secondly, my problem is that all marriages in South Africa are automatically in community of property unless if you have executed an antenuptial contract. Now, my problem is that you marry this person that you don't even know. You become married in community of property because, remember, there's no period for you to even discuss the proprietary consequences.
Is that what happens normally?
Yes.
Do they get into it in community of property? Or?
It has to be because, remember, they don't even have time to go to the notaries to go and execute the antenuptial contract and all that.
Yes.
And imagine you marry someone who is blacklisted. Then it means you can never transact anymore. You get married and then this person declares an income of about 40,000, whereas they're not even going to be staying with you. Then your children can no longer benefit through the social grants system and everything. And should this person die, or should you die, and you find that you had assets, then you must remember that those assets then they're going to this person to the exclusion of the children. Because now your estate will not even be administered by the master up until they get hold of this person. And in many cases, these people disappear. And that overburdens the guidance fund because now you have to freeze those assets until you get hold of this person. And you cannot even go out there and declare them dead. Because if you have to declare them dead, then you have to wait for 10 years. Report them missing, and then you wait for 10 years and wait that some miracle is going to happen and then they're going to come back. And I'm scared for the children because they may not even be able to get birth certificates, they may not be able to get the passports.
Wow.
And all those kind of things. So this is very serious. It's very serious. Apart from the other legal consequences that you are committing fraud and all those kind of things, it impacts on the children. And the worst part, there's some other religions wherein if these other people from the countries, they have children with you, then they will tell you, I'm taking the child away. They have to go through a particular ceremony in our country. And the children never come back.
Jesus, deep. 24 minutes after 6 o'clock, 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. Let me just open the telephone lines already and let's get to hear what people have got to say. Hello, how about do that? Zulu. You can do that as well. 0800 142 446. The three groups of languages. That name went out of my mind. The Nguni languages, the Sesotho languages, more than welcome to do that. So let's do that. Let's interact this evening because these programs are so designed so that you can get information and get help. You might not be the one that's directly impacted by this or directly involved in this, but perhaps you know somebody that's running the risk of becoming a victim of this, because eventually people are victims coming from this.
Yes, they are. And this is how the department discovered about this trend and these activities. It's because when it's tough, then they come to the department and say, I can't get hold of this person and now I'm married and I've met Uma Konda Nawam. And Uma Konda Nawam, I cannot sign with them because now at the Home Affairs I am being reflected as a married person. So now what do I do? And remember, that kind of marriage, you cannot dissolve it via divorce because, remember, it is fraudulent, right?
Let's talk about the dissolution of that type of marriage, because now you're mentioning something very interesting. Because actually, a legal marriage, I think it's easy to dissolve because coming out of a marriage is not easy. I can imagine. But the process now they are clear.
Yes, they're very clear because you go through divorce, and now we have this Jurisdiction of Regional Court Amendment Acts, which actually opened access to justice to say you can go to the regional court, lodge your divorce and all that. But with this, it's tough. You have to launch 2 types of applications at the High Court. Number one, you have to launch an application to request leave for the court to say to you, go and serve this person who you cannot find via substituted service and inform them that you are dissolving this particular marriage. Secondly, then you'll then have to then go and dissolve it via annulment. So
okay, I don't believe like simple English. Just simple, plain English.
Plain English.
What does it mean?
Okay. The substitute service means that you're going to have to approach the newspapers, But first you must get the court order. Approach the newspapers and say to them, can you please indicate in your newspaper that I am annulling this particular marriage? Then you must also go and then approach the government gazette as well, because remember, it must be clear that you have advertised, you have circulated that you are annulling this particular marriage. Then thereafter, then annulment, it means you must launch a high court application. And remember, you cannot do it via an agent basis, or it can take about a year or so trying to set the matter down and then get the judge to then dissolve this particular matter. So it is not child's play, because then you have to have an attorney. Then the attorney must then brief the advocate. So you can imagine the legal costs.
Jeez. 0800 142 446, 0800 142 446. Now, one thing that I'm really worried about, and something that I'm thinking about, is there reason good enough for people to get into this? Because now people could be listening from outside and thinking, yeah, but it's easy for you people to say. Every month, each and every month there's something that you guys are getting. Tina, we're doing this because we really can't. We really cannot survive.
You know what?
We need to do something. We need to get money. We need to. People could give reasons. Is there a reason good enough?
There's no reason good enough, because there are laws in South Africa. Firstly, I want to speak to the process of attaining citizenship. It's a pretty simple process. You first come into the country, then you apply for a temporary residency. Once that is granted, then you will then apply for a permanent residency. Then you stay for 10 years in the country on that permanent residency, and then apply for citizenship. What is complicated there?
So, are we then saying on the backside of it, these things are done because people, to start with, are entering the country legally?
Correct, yes. But you must know that when you facilitate that entering of the Republic by receiving money from them, you are actually encouraging so many things. You are encouraging xenophobia, first and foremost. You are encouraging that, because you are saying to the people, you don't belong here. However, for you to be here, you're going to have to pay me money. You are acting as if you are owning South Africa. Secondly, you are burdening the fiscus of the country, because now the country now has to provide certain things to these people who are actually, in the ordinary sense of the word, shouldn't be in South Africa. But now you are burdening that, and then you're going to complain and say, but the government is not doing this, but the government is blah, 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 blah. But then you know that you actually effectively facilitated that. There is absolutely no reason. We have NGOs which are out there advocating for women and children's rights, which can provide assistance. We have the Department of Social Development, which is assisting through this SASA agency and all that. What is the reason for us to then be getting people's monies, knowing very well that should they be caught, they're going to be deported? Worst case scenario, they're going to be jailed for a period of 15 years. So you are putting these people's lives at risk, and they may never enter South Africa ever again. So why are you ruining it simply because you are looking for 2,000 rands?
Well, that's the one party. The one party, I remember when we had the same program, I think it was about a week or two ago, if I'm not mistaken, somebody called in and saying, this issue, asylum seeking, they've been in the country and they've been sent back and forth, I think, for about 10 years. We must look at that, and it's one of the factors that are contributing towards people acting that way. So, in other words, this is not the party that gives money and say, look, I can't anymore. I can't stand, I can't. It's too much. So, I'm going to pay somebody to help me get into the country or get citizenship of the country.
That is very dangerous, and that for me is lack of patience, because remember, there are systems and mechanisms in place to say, rather apply for a temporary citizenship, stay on, and prove yourself.
Okay, let's start with that. Okay, I don't want to call them perpetrators yet.
Yes.
Perpetrate. Well, that depends on how far do we get with our conversation. But let's talk about the ones that are paying the money, all right? The remedies, the struggles they have in terms of getting access into the country and citizenship and so forth, and maybe wanting to command business in the country. Where can they seek help? I can go to the fastest or the quickest, but where can they seek help and be comfortable, or they are getting help? They must just be patient in terms of all that I've mentioned.
I know I'm not here on behalf of the Department of Home Affairs, but they've got fantastic systems that I can vouch for them. They've got fantastic, and the information out there. The information is also even readily available to say you can either even contact. There are other agencies out there who are affiliated with the Department of Home Affairs, who are actually fast-tracking these applications to ensure that, you know, that it is less painful for people who do not want to wait. But imagine when you get a temporary residency, it expires after a period of 4 years.
And you can renew it?
Yes, you can renew
temporary
it.
One? Even
Yes,
temporary, happy for another 4 years.
Yes, or you can move to the permanent one.
Right. 0800 142 Can you go clear that whole issue? Yeah. We're going to come back to it again. 0800 142 446. Let's take Lebohang Kasipe. I beg your pardon. Lebohang somebody else. Lebohang Kasipe from Takalani Community Radio Station all the way out in Eliwell North. Good evening to you, sir.
KV, what is?
Under the circumstances, yeah, but it's very cold in the studio. I think the guys have got the aircon on. That's my chance to tell them to switch it off.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead. Put our in that. Yeah.
Who is to be blamed here on transactional marriage between the two, Itibuaka, foreigner, South Africa? Hulu Yetala, Batumba, Agitolo, Kibata, Butona Yetala, Batumba, Batwan Kanke, Elibatu Babunta, Kapa, Kibat Babune, Batwan Kanke. Number one question. Yabube, if I'm with one me mona high, Kimutana Satiri tour about Mutuno Basika Yena, and then Abam Tora Katsila, Novakatella Bank, Katsula, Uncle Rincano, Nalbadi. The cost and 20 Bankabatal Goeta, is it free for Mutuno or a female person of South Africa, South Africa Mutuno? Ubalo uminyeti kanke utila unasa sidi yaba yena aidingam trika uriaba ketela dimelani mungu. And then my last question, it's the question that I used to ask, and like so many Karabo in course of Asamfandi one. If someone from outside who kapa nakil mona South Africa ki lahle ba ke ID ka kapa ilahle ID ka kifika Home Affairs ki apply la ID ke fika utwa ke chatile le motho wa kwana ka ntle di ring ya teng taba teng ya teng yona e ring o tswa o fika mano twa o chatile wena o le boang khasite hasam jwale ka nnete e ring e jwalo ke tla bona tela community radio KV nice program indeed it got up about babomme ha o le mona South Africa by mametse program sister ya ga jeno.
Lebs, listen, thank you so much, especially now we're getting towards the end of the year. I mean, you guys have been supporting that for all these years. Let me just take this opportunity to thank you as the head of Takalani Community Radio Station for the partnership that you've given us over the years. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, baby. Thanks a lot.
Okay, there we go. Lebohang Kasipe, heading up a community station in Aliwal North called Takalani Community Radio. Big ups to you guys. You're doing absolutely well. Ulifile from Mafikeng. Ulifile? Dumela ra le kae?
No, re tsukile ra ithu.
He ra tsoga.
Potso nne ke batla go e botsa mme Peta ka go like a bua a re marriage of convenience mo tsatsing la gompieno. Ke mang o le hedi o non responsible for ntho and then if South Africans aba khona go ka prostitutiwa kapa go ka fetisiwa ga ba dirile so se tshwana le and then ba reng ka bana cause ha ile gore go find out gore lenyalo le ke lenyalo le leng gore le rekisi ga teng ka bana bao ba kriya de dual citizenship or idonent le ma South African and then ba irang gore go magae this campaign di khone go itlhella batho besides coming to the community radio stations batho ba ba reditse go magae Israel.
Thank you so much, sir. Ke Ulifile, they're calling us. Really appreciate it. 0800 142 446 0800 142 446. We'd like to hear from you. What is it that you got to say? You can also hook us up on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. On Twitter, it's DOJCD_ZA, and on Instagram, it's DOJCD. And I've got actually a question coming from Facebook at the moment. Thank you so much to you, Aaron Mukwena. He wants to find out, why is this happening? Is it because our sisters are after money or what? You see, that's this question is going to come mainly from men, because a sense of being worried about why our ladies are getting into this. So Aaron wants to find out about that. Thank you so much, Aaron. We really appreciate it. Let's start with Lebohang. Lebohang wants to find out who's to be blamed. It's the same question which Sengu feel as well. Who's to be blamed? The blame among? Do we blame the perpetrators, our sisters in South Africa? Do we blame the guys coming from abroad illegally into the country?
You know what, for me, I want to start where we actually found out as to, as it's regard the gender orientation here. We received many complaints from women who were complaining against male foreign nationals. So it is very clear that they are the ones who are actually transacting more than our South African men. So they're the ones who are actually transacting. So their sisters are to blame, because remember, they get approached when someone gives you an offer. Who accepts the offer? Nobody puts a gun on their head.
That's the response you're gonna get. I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
For me, I blame the ones who receives the offer, because remember, they get approached. You have, in life you have a choice. You either take it or you either say yes or no. You have a choice. So they choose to be party to these transactions. So
in other words, banale an opportunity, or the only phrase that came to my mind is a Zulu phrase, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use it because I love it. I saw in a play called Marikan. They have an opportunity to.
They have that power to say no. Part of lento. They've got that right and that power to say no.
So even this happens, they're the ones who can stop or let it go.
Yes. So they are actually facilitating, they are abetting, they are actually assisting that this thing takes place.
The concentration of gender with regards to this, how do we weigh it? Do we find it's more men coming from illegal foreign nationals coming into the country? Is it more male or is it females as well coming illegally into the country are doing that?
It's more males. It's more males. More.
Do we have cases females doing that as well?
Yes,
but
a few of them. Yeah. But men, they are, because when we did the survey in 2014, we found that there were about 2,486 marriages, and that was discovered after women. Those 2,486 women complained. So you can see the stats speaks for themselves. They've had it. They cannot take this thing anymore. They must
just
love themselves. Really.
But now what happens? Now they can understand I see correct and I need to change. What are the legal implications of that cost-wise?
Sure. We're looking at plus minus 100,000
to reverse the whole process.
Yes. We look at plus minus 100, because high court costs are exorbitant, and you can't approach the regional court, you can't approach the district court. It's only the high court, and they are exorbitant, because remember, you must have a dual team. You must have the attorney, you must have the advocate to go and do that application for you. You must sit with your attorney, they must take the instructions from there, they must go and brief the advocate, then the advocate must go and appear, and then they will charge you per hour or whatever fees they're going to charge you. But you're not looking at less than 100,000, right? Because this is an annulment application, and like I said, it involves a whole lot of processes. You must still get leave from the court to say, please court, can you allow me to go and publish that I want to annul this particular marriage? And that is an application on its own. It's a litigation process on its own. Then afterwards, when you have published and everything it has been proven, then you come back and do the actual application. Now, who will afford that?
Yeah, do your maths. 100,000 rand minus 40,000 rand. You can imagine.
Exactly.
I get about 40 rand.
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden you're heading, the cost of 100,000 rand, they're right in front of you. Jeez, man. 20 minutes just before 7 o'clock. Welcome to it. If you've joined us, this is a live broadcast. It's coming from our studios here in Pretoria, and it's brought to you courtesy of Government Communication and Information System, the GCIS, together with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Kalina ke Karabolans and Moe Warna Chachina Lohono ke Josephine Peta. She's the Senior Legal Administration Officer at the Office of the Family Advocate. So we're taking your calls on 0800 142 446. That's 0800 142 446. Before we take that call, I just want to get a confirmation from our video administrator. Are we live on YouTube on the government channel? Or not yet? Not yet. Not yet. Okay. But we're working on that. We gave it a shot yesterday, by the way, Stone, and it seems like it's something that we might do. We must just speak to the relevant authorities. It's something that can work. So we'll let you know, though. We'll let you know. 0800 142 446. Let's chat to Carl. Carl is calling all the way from Richards Bay. Carl is the guy that's heading up a community radio station called North Coast Community Radio. They're doing an absolutely amazing job there as well. Thank you so much, Carl. Carl, good evening to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, hi, Karabo. Good evening.
Good evening, Carl. Thank you so much for calling in. What is your question?
Josephine Konalapo. My question is on the fraudulent versus marriage of convenience. Okay, let's take away the foreign scenario from everything within law.
Okay.
It's us, two South African citizens that have got married, right?
Okay.
How can we define within law a fraudulent, a marriage of convenience, and what is the recourse thereof? I'll give an example. Maybe naku hamodise inalubu khosinyana.
Yeah.
And mina as a prince lapo, I'm the target of many an eligible bride, but only on the basis and does that become a marriage of convenience, or what? Is one's ambition around who they want to marry? As much as it might be ulterior, but they're married within the context of the law. I just wanted a definition, what is then, is that, how can we define that as being fraudulent?
Right.
Another last thing, one married me because you understand? I tell it a husband and so forth. What is the recourse? So that we might be able to, nice men or women is that be able to go and get recourse to get out of that kind of marriage.
Carl, thank you so much for having given us a call. Listen here, don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. Pop in, Carl from North Coast Community Radio Station. You guys are doing well, yeah?
No, we're doing well, and GCIS, the List of Justice, is doing miracles in our community, and within a chamber, you guys will keep this thing going.
100%. Thank you so much, Carl. Big ups to you guys and blessings to your station.
Thank you.
Let's chat to Martha from Pretoria. Martha's listening from a radio station that groomed me. This is Impact 103. Good evening to you, Martha. Fagebondin. Martha says, Fagebondin, Pale. It's also funny. 16 minutes just before 7. 0800 142 446. 0800 142 446.
You know what? Can I address the one here, Abutikal, because it's very interesting.
What you were very bad. I was looking at you. You were very passionate. Let's start with that. I'm happy.
Abutikal, I'm very grateful for your question, because this is the information that needs to go out there to the people. Remember, before you enter into a marriage, there must be an element of consent. First, you must be of 18 years or older, and there must be consent. Now, it is very difficult to then say a marriage is fraudulent when the two people consented. Remember, we are now minusing the foreign element.
We're taking the foreign element out, yeah.
You must then consent, and then you go to the Department of Home Affairs, and then you go and execute a marriage. Now, it is very difficult to say the marriage is then convenient or fraudulent or whatever it is. But my advice to the people would be antenuptial contract. Remember that every marriage in South Africa is a marriage in community of property, meaning it's a community of property, meaning you sharing this undivided joint estate, which only gets divided upon death and divorce.
Okay.
You see?
So it means
gold digger. Because Karabo Tamaga Benz.
Yeah.
Karabo sign an antenuptial contract.
Let's make it a Ferrari.
Exactly, a Ferrari. Then that Ferrari and then Talana can write Rekisha share. Because of it is an undivided joint estate. That is why it is very important for people to get advice before they enter into a marriage. Because remember, in community property, whatever you have, even before you meet this person, Mara ho dile anti-nuptial contract, you are able to exclude certain things and say na ke anti-nuptial contract ke tla o sharela whatever ke tlo o sharela ngana mara ho ka tseba ro tswa ka lebati na lo tila ho tsamaile le selo.
Yeah, look, it works. It it works in certain communities. In certain communities, that explanation it's far out the window. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example. For instance, you'll get somebody who's spiritual. Okay, I think that's the best way in Gai Bianca. I can over the word spiritual. And then, but that whole quote a verse, right? They'll give you a verse. For instance, they'll say to you, Mark 10 verse 8, and the two shall become one flesh.
Exactly.
Well, the anti-nuptial. You see what
you know what? Anti-nuptial contract is actually very good. You know, I've always viewed it as a form of protection. For example, should maybe one of us run into financial difficulties and all that, life will still go on because the other spouse will still not be blacklisted, and then life will still go on. People must not view it as a negative thing to say, right, I don't want you to come and benefit.
Right.
You know, and I can still say, even though, and it doesn't mean that I don't have legal responsibilities towards you. Doesn't mean that I don't have the right, the responsibility to maintain you and to support you as a wife. What I'm basically saying that I'm just building mechanisms for the protection of the estate until the marriage is dissolved. You know, God forbid. But it is a form of protection.
So people need to start viewing an anti-nuptial contract
a form of protection. Imagine if I get married to my husband and I'm a director of a company that goes under. It gets liquidated and I also go under. What's going to happen to my matrimonial estate? It will go under with me too. So is the ANC not a form of protection in such cases? It is. And remember, I can still benefit you. I can still state in that agreement to say that should the marriage dissolve, you'll be entitled to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't mean that
yeah.
So we should start viewing that in that particular context, light, not in a negative to say, oh, then you are signing this. And I remember when I was still in practice, people will come in tears, crying and saying he doesn't love me, he's not loving me, that is why he wants to exclude me. It is not like that. View it as a form of protection and go for it to avoid saying a person married me because of I've got money.
Kana, when she said the ANC is a form of protection, or Nami now the anti-nuptial contract, Martha from Pietermaritzburg. Martha, good evening to you. Martha from Pietermaritzburg. Mark from Pietermaritzburg, rather. Mark ukhona?
Yebo ngikhona futhi.
Ngiyabonga baba. Umbuzo wakho uthini?
No, igama lami nguMark kwaMthembu, ngisePietermaritzburg, ngilalele kuMgungundlovu 107.6 FM, the sound of choice of KZN Capital.
Baba Mthembu, ngiyabonga baba.
Angibonge kakhulu nje kulezi inhlelo zika government ze-GIS. Futhi ngumlandeli omkhulu kakhulu ukuthi ngilandele lezi inhlelo emsakazweni nami uMgungundlovu FM. Ngiyabonga kakhulu nani ukuthi nani nikwazi ukuthi nisithethele uhulumeni lapho esikhona ngoba ngamagagaso siyaxhumana.
Right. Go for it, Mark. And then at the end of your question, I'm going to make you laugh. Just remind me, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Nginombuzo oqala la. Ngine-neighbor yami yaseLesotho. Usehlalela eSouth Africa cishe more than 35 years. Wakade ne-ID yala eSouth Africa. I-ID yakho abanjwe izigebengu zamkhuthuza yalahleka. Uma sihamba siye home affairs, siya lapha sokushaya i-ID. Kuthiwa umuntu waseLesotho kumele aphindele eLesotho ayokwazi ukuthi athole imvume yokuthi unesakhamuza la eSouth Africa futhi ngokuphelele. Okuyinkinga ukuthi manje sivele yablockwa laphana ePretoria. Sezizama imizamo eminingi ukuthi izame ukuthi ivuleke le ID. Sangena naku public protector. Naye futhi akakwazanga ukuthi asisize. Ngicela ukubuza ukuthi ikuphi akumele akwenze ubaba lona onenkinga ngoba ngiphatha kabuhlungu sekuvale ngisho nepension yakhe futhi usomuntu omdala and u-stressful akazi ukuthi kumele enzeni ngoba i-ID is nothing. Umbuzo wami kuyilo sengigqibile ngawo baba ngicela ihlaya lami.
Nali ke ngiyakupha lona ke. I love just the way you promoted the radio station that you're listening from, and I know you're part of it, isn't it, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, ngiyabonga baba, because your radio station is doing amazingly well. In fact, I need to come and visit you guys in the next week or so. So let me just take the opportunity to say, Umkhumundlovu, you guys are doing amazing, and keep up your good work. We'll call you if we need somebody to come and do our advertising and promotion, because it looks like you're somebody that handles it very well.
Thank you very much.
There we go. That's Mark Mthembu there from Mkungundlovu Community Radio. 9 minutes before 7 o'clock. 0800 142 446. Do we have Martha on the line? Martha, are you there? Akekho Martha. Simfake ebondeni. Fake ebondeni. Okay, let's start with Mark. We'll tread back quickly.
Yeah, sure. This is very sad, eh? You know, I'd advise Babu Mark to go the legal route. You know why? Because of there's a case to be, to be ventilated in court. Because firstly, he mentioned that this person had an ID, a South African ID, which eventually got lost. So then that should have given rise to a separate process altogether, wherein they should have reported the ID lost. And then after reporting it lost, then the department should have done its own investigation inside, and then be able to then prove that this person was indeed issued, unless maybe if it was not issued because of we don't have the full facts. Mm-hmm. But if it was, then there should be records. There's no way that there would not be records. And then secondly, he mentioned something like that. Now, if Valenama pension, none. Obviously, then those people will serve as witnesses to prove that indeed he has worked in South Africa for this particular period. This is, I would advise that they approach the legal aid center, because obviously maybe he is now destitute and all that, and then go the court route, maybe get a court order that will then actually outline what is to be done under the circumstances.
Right. Olifile, we're going to come to your question. We're coming to your question, Olifile, but let me take Richard. Richard is calling from a township in South Africa that's known, Sharpeville. If you remember the Sharpeville massacre, that's where Richard is calling from. Good evening to you, Richard.
Remember Sharpeville massacre, that's where Richard is calling from. Good evening to you, Richard.
Brother Richard, ke tlo kopa ro kwale moya seyalemoya sa hao, and then o buele kodimo ke parla go ho the side. There we go. Brother Rich? Yes, ndati. Re teng le ka ndati. Ke kopa ro buele kodimo Richard, ke kopa ro buele kodimo.
Le bothata mona jwale ke thabela ho utlwa lenaneo lena jwale ka ile go la re fasolla. Ke na le moradi o ka o na anyetswe ke mthako mong kae ka mo ka Gauteng. Mthako na ba diutsuna le bana ba bararo le gore ba nyalane ka custom marriage, bana ba sa saeng, ona le bana ba itrele jwale Tagona ntate o la ithunya ipolai. O utlwala mre?
Ke a utlwa ntate.
O la ithunya ba ipolai, ona sebetsa mthako. Jwale o ipolai ngwa e belo no. Jwale e belo ne ka mora polao e ai mogayo a ka ona. Ke ai lo ne o tlima di assets tsa monna jwale ka ile go ne le monna le mosadi. Ba fumane dithuso. Jwale a ba thola ga molao mong a batla 7,000 a re no o kenya application ka high court in Joburg. Case ya bona e kene mole Joburg.
Yeah.
Mtakona a ke tsebo tsa etseng ka yena o amweli.
Okay.
Aba o postpone the case o tla batla gore na fane ka diteng. Ke semo sa bogago jwale se.
All right, Richard, I'm not trying to be rude. Let's maybe try to get straight to the point. I'll tell you why, because baba trying hore phone in. So let's maybe are fast track nyana mo.
Jwale be lo ne jwale ka e lo ne ke ne ke batla o tseba fela mo lo ne dintho tse ba ngelo ke dithuthu tsa monna ba bo monna ba dinkile kaofela. Jwale o tshongo ne bana ba hae ona mo e lo ba kene mapeng a ntata bona. Bona ntwene ke batla o etse ba e.
Okay, Richard, wena or untate wa ngwana ona ngere?
Ntate wa mogadi o wa.
Yes. And then when are you mentioning her marriage wa bona, it was a customary marriage? Were you involved in any way in terms of the negotiation near customary marriage? Could we say this question, because I know Josephine is going to explain how a customary marriage is recognized by law. But just to hint at that, were you involved in any way when that marriage, the customary marriage, was done? Right, okay, 100%. All right, ke kopa utlwe le mo se le mo ensa ha o re tla araba potso ha.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask that because at the beginning it sounded like he had nothing to do with it. Because I mean, when you say mama and kai, it means you don't know the person. So one more thing. He was part of it. Okay, 100%. It's Martha back. Martha is not back, eh? All right. Should we go for the questions? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's start. I'll tell the listeners later what I'm laughing at, not now. Richard Kiyohe, here's a problem.
I'm very grateful for Babu Richard's question because it's also going to give people information out there. In South Africa, there are 3 kinds of marriages. The first one is your ordinary civil marriage, which is regulated in terms of the Marriages Act.
Right.
Secondly, customary law, which is customary marriage, which is regulated by Recognition of Customary Marriages Act.
Right.
And then thirdly, the civil unions. The Civil Unions Act 2006, same-sex marriages and all that.
Yes.
And then mulao a protect at all.
You're not even allowing me to finish because this is something that you don't like.
I don't like it because there's no law that protects that. Marriages Act, Civil Unions Act, Recognition of Customary Marriages Act. Now, no, I must tell you, the proprietary consequences, the benefits, unless I registered like a civil union in 2006.
Jeez, but do you have to say that looking away from the microphone?
Yes, because of I encourage.
Okay.
Customary marriages. There was a case, very, very interesting case here, 1998, Tembu versus Letsela. The case went to the Constitutional Court. The requirements of a valid customary marriage.
Right.
And even if basa sign, but they have observed the cultural practices and all those rituals and everything, the tradition and everything, in terms of their own tradition and all that, then it is a marriage, whether it was registered or not. So it was not registered, hence asina marriage certificate. Remember marriage certificate customary marriage.
Of which there are things that you need to take there.
Yes. You can register it posthumously. Register as long as only the document.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then can she still do it?
Yes, she can do it.
Provided she has
all the evidence, witnesses and everything. But now I want to come to the actual solution. In the event that the marriage is disputed, it is not all doom and gloom. Because that is why we have Administration of Estate Acts. It is there to cater for the beneficiaries, the deceased. Let's say, for example, so it means the estate it will devolve to the children to the exclusion of any other person.
Okay.
So I approach a master of the High Court.
Okay.
I say a letter of authority or letter of executorship, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we.
So that's the best thing she can do now.
Yes.
I'm glad or it's not all doom and gloom.
Yes, no, it is not all doom and gloom.
Sometimes it sounded like,
No.
Okay, 100%. Let's take Partco. Let's take Vince first. Vince from Hammanskraal. Good evening to you, Vince. Vince from Hammanskraal. Ay ban wena wa jumpy say it's away na man. Wena u raton jumpy say it's na raje wa man. Ore bruag. O ja popotso a ring.
Tabelantate.
I want to ask an awkward question. Why don't we have expiry dates with regards to marriages? Don't you think that would be able to remedy a lot of issues that people are faced with? Because, I think if we have a time frame on marriages to say this marriage will last for 5 or 10 years, all these things that, marriages, the baggages that are coming with marriages, would be shocking. Didn't you think of that, Mama? Josephine? That is my only question, sir.
Vince, usira ask a question, like. Okay, no sharp. Thank you so much, Vince, for asking that question. Yes, see, I tell you what, it's taking a different toll, this thing, I'll tell you. Okay, let's go to Partco. Partco from Takalani Community Radio. Partco is one of the guys that's making sure that things are going well at Takalani Community Radio there. So good evening to you, Partco. Partco, Takalani Community Radio.
Molweni kunjani?
Ndiyaphila kunjani tata?
Ndiyaphila mhlali ngaphambili.
Ndiyavuya kuva kuwe.
Hani ngumqabaqaba kweqabule
Vinika, there we go. Yes.
Ndiyabulela naphaya kumama uJosephine ukuthi abe khona namhlanje naye ndiyambulisa. Umbuzo wami uqini kokuqala ndifuna ucacisela ebeke wathetha ngayo mama uJosephine ngaphambilini lento le yokuthwalwa kwabantwana. Naku kwenzeka apha elalini okanye apha ezilalini ezinto ezi ziyenzeka. Abone utata ukuba ngoku kumele nikhuluphele ndinomzukulwana nguye yedwa oshikileyo apha ekhaya okanye emantungwaneni, and then kube kutata osuke ezimayini athethisane nabazali bomntana kuyiwe nasenkosini bagqithe bavumelane, inkosi ibhale phansi ukuba hayi ungamtshata lo mntana umenze inkosikazi yakho. Masithi lo mntana neminyaka 17 ubudala. Ngokwesintu kuthiwa ingaphuma amaphondo yahlaba ukuthi iyalenza isiko. Ufumana ukuthi bavumelene abantu. Ingaba ke ngoku isebe eli lona le justice ngeyiphi indima abangayidlalayo ekubeni ukuba abantwana abathathwayo babeke bayazekwa, umntana akanalwazi, ubona nje kuvunyelwana kusayina phansi naye asayine athathwe enze umfazi, uhlala pha utata kekho, umntana uphulukene nemfundo yakhe. Ingaba i-Department of Justice ngeyiphi indima engayidlala ukuthi ezo nto ezo zingabikho? Kumbuzo wami ukuqala lo. Ndifuna ukulela emva i-follow-up question lena. Umama uJosephine ukhankanyile ukuba xa sendizekiwe okanye mna ndizekwe my friend ID yami ibilahlekile, and then xa ndifuna ukudivorsa ngoku kunemali okanye funeke ndidibene ne-advocate okanye i-attorney apho ndizawubhatala khona imali engakanye 100,000 rand. Ingaba ke ngoku mandithi ndiyimfuneka ujaca, andisebenzi, andinayo nesenti libize ezini. Ingaba bayakwazi ukuthi bona babe bazawukwazi ukuthi bandithethelele mhlawumbi rhoqo ngenyanga ibhatale loo mali leyo sabe sivumelene ngayo? Ndiyabulela kakhulu ngomamela Takalani Community Radio.
Ndiyabulela Partco, Takalani Community Radio Station. Thank you so much. Let's speak to Norutando from Soweto. Norutando.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Hello, Mama.
I now have a question here. I was a victim of forced marriage. It happened in 2009. I gave my sister an ID to collect a parcel for me, post office. And then she lost my ID. And then apparently I got married in 2009 on the 28th of June. And then I went and make a new ID with Home Affairs. And in 2012 or 2011, when we were voting for elections, I went and voted. When I got served, they couldn't find my surname near Hamapela. And then this lady said, but I saw your name somewhere in this list. And I said, there are two beautiful names because my other name is Happiness. I would love to name my child for it. So she goes back and she gets my surname is now Archibale or something. And then I'm like, where is this coming from? They say, no, actually you are married. She go contact Home Affairs. I go to Home Affairs and Home Affairs explain this. She used to be married for 6 years now, since 2009. And they give me the date. And then when I check the ID that I have now using, it's actually issued on the 2nd of July. And then I was asking them, but then how do I get married without my ID? And it took me years. I had to go to public protector, and they finally reversed it. They just reversed my surname back to Mapela. But in actual fact, in other credit institutions or the body that surname Archibald is still up here. And I've been going to Home Affairs since 2012 until today. It's not really cleared out together. So my question goes to Josephine, what do we do in cases whereby I am a victim? I was never part of this whole thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Nolutando. Thank you for your call, listening from Soweto. Really appreciate it. We've got another 10 minutes to go. So, one more caller. Okay. So we're going to wrap up. Let's close the callers. Let's deal with the questions that we have at the moment. Let's start Kaya Nolutando, and we're going to track back to Partco, Vincent, and all of that stuff. What can she do? This is a...
Right. Nolutando asked a question, it was asked by other 3 listeners, lost ID, where they did not partake in the illegal activity. So I think we need to differentiate between the two. There is this one where the ID gets lost, where it is, it is not your fault, the ID just got lost and all that. And there's this one where people intentionally partake into this illegal activity. With regard to the former, which one? The one where the ID gets lost. You cannot be punished for something that you did not do. Yes, you can approach the Department of Home Affairs, but at some stage you find how can they help. Now I say go the legal route, because remember the law is there to protect us, and in case where you do not have the requisite financial requirements, then you then approach the legal aid to assist by launching that particular application, so that because I get the court order is going to be issued to get the Home Affairs to then reverse, and also for the financial institution as well to reverse all those issues and all that, so that you don't even get liable for the debts that you do not incur yourself, because you find after marrying there, then the ID still even goes further, and then people go and then incur debts and everything and all that. So you can get that reversed by virtue of saying it is fraud. So it is different from this one where people partake and then tomorrow they turn back and say, but I was not part of that. But if it is found that you took fingerprints and everything, you're part of that, then that is fraud. That's where then you can even face jail because of that. But the one of the ID getting lost is subject to certain criterion and investigation, and not this other aspect. So
if Nolutando had the legal route, where must she start?
She must start with the legal aid board, or if not the legal aid board, she can approach the law clinics at the universities.
All right,
then they can assist.
Okay, Patko wants to find out kutwalwa.
The department has done many outreach programs on this particular issue, because remember, we're saying that the age of marriage is 18 years. And it says 18 years for boys and then 15 years for girls. Right? However, if that is the case, that you find a minor gets married into, gets involved in that kind of a marriage, there must be, number one, consent, and there must be written consent of both the parents. Secondly, there must also be a written consent of the Commissioner of Social Welfare. There must be a consent. If that consent is not there, then that marriage can be annulled anytime. It is not a valid marriage.
Actually, the customary practices.
No, it doesn't.
More longer people will claim her tradition and all of that stuff.
No, but then the element of consent must always be there. Even in tradition, they call and ask you, then that's where you do the consent. You are consenting. You're consenting.
Okay.
When you say yes, then it's...
No. It's a verbal signature.
Yes.
All right, Vince wants to find out. Hey, Vince, does he want me? Must I go on ask this? He said yes. He said he's serious. So Vince, I'm going to ask
Let's answer it.
Vince, why does the expiry date in marriages? Why don't we have expiry dates in marriages so we can apply or no? With this one that I'm married now, let's have it end in 5 years or something like that. Why don't we have expiry dates in
we can't have those, because a marriage is a choice. You wake up and decide you want to get married.
Yeah, but can it expire? Then we'll renew it.
Then you go the divorce route.
But you can renew it.
Then you go, and then you come back and remarry. You can marry. You have a choice. You can marry 20 times, 10 times. It is your choice.
I'm telling you.
I love South Africa.
I'm telling you. This one daughter married to somebody. Okay, there's
one of the children. There's one of the children. Someone asked about the children to say what then happens to those children.
That's one.
Those children are the children of the very same parties. It doesn't change.
Status is that's what they wanted to find out.
They are South African citizens by virtue of the fact that they were born to a South African parent. They are South African citizens.
So they will benefit everything that...
Yes. Because remember, the acquisition of citizenship is 3 ways. It's by birth. And when we talk about birth, we're talking about you can be born in Mozambique to South African parents. Then you are automatically, then you have dual citizenship because you were born to South African citizens.
And you were born in Mozambique.
In Malawi
so
or Mozambique.
you for the dual.
Dual, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Then, when you are born in South Africa, automatically you are a South African citizen. Then citizenship by descent and citizenship by naturalization. What we're talking about now, which is being manipulated, it's citizenship by naturalization, where you get a foreign national being naturalized to become a South African citizen.
Right. Okay.
So 3 ways. So these children are South African citizens.
So we're covered with all the South African laws and everything.
Yes.
So what are inconvenience?
Exactly.
With our nonsense, really.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Exactly.
All right, that's how we're going to be wrapping it up this evening. Thank you so much to all the radio stations that participated this evening. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Lebohange, guys like Ulifile called in, Mark called in, Martha. We couldn't get a hold of you. We tried many times to get a hold of you. I would have loved to hear what your take is on this matter. And Richard, Vince, Partko, Nolutando, everybody's called in. Really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to the guest for this evening, Josephine Peta, coming from the division, the Justice and Constitutional Development. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Are we going to do this again?
Yes.
And again?
Yes,
and again?
You can see
and again?
People are hungry for the information.
People are, well, you should.
And I love today's questions because of, like they were very broad. We spoke about broader aspects, and people even today learned about the beauty of antenuptial contract, although people had viewed it in a negative manner. But
I think maybe we need to do a follow-up here, the types of marriages, do a show in that regard. Yeah, we'll line it up here. Thank you so much to you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much to the technical guys that are in the studio making this happen. This is Ndate Musoto Stone. He's on sound and transmission. Thank you so much, Musoto. Thank you so much to Reginald Sanyani. Reginald is on telephones. I said I'm going to tell you. I said I'm going to tell the listeners why I laughed when I was asking the guys got the telephones. Reggie hasn't been doing telephone for a long time. He's been doing sound all along. Now, Lynn now was shocked to see him on the telephones, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what are we? Okay, but let's just let it happen. The trick with the telephones is if you haven't done it for a long time, the next time when you do it, it's kind of, it overwhelms you. And he was overwhelmed. So he's using both fingers to dial. That's what I'm being told. It's not me. Normally when you dial a handset, you use one. I get you hold the handset with the other hand. And apparently he's doing it with both fingers. And that's what we were laughing at because it looked very funny. I wish we had that thing on YouTube. My goodness. Thank you so much to you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's wrap it up. From myself, Karabo Lance, Stokolana Saba Pedil Matabele. It's a very good evening to you until we meet again next time.